HBO turned Green Lantern into True Detective. Marvel just broke a box office record. Templar's had his thumbs up for 15 minutes now, and somehow everyone here is going to tell you that they're winning. By the end of this episode, you're going to know whether Lanterns is worth your Sunday nights, where the DC and Marvel scoreboard actually stands in 2026, and whether Brand New Day lives up to the hype. I'm Chino. That's Templar. Oh, and down there is Druzi. This is the Roundtable. Let's get after it. I like how you did the steepled hands there, Temp. Like you went to the emoji. Yeah.
It's the power.
The Mr. Burns. Yeah.
No.
Gotta do the Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2. Well, if you know anything about the canon of Lux Digital Church, you will know that the three of us here on the Roundtable were literally hugging on each other. Maybe it was just me doing most of the hugging as of last week in Pennsylvania. But we're back in our respective studios. Templar 10 back in the Great White North, and Druzi somewhere in the center of the United States. We have convened the Council of Elders to talk about the brand new show, Lanterns. It's just Lanterns, right? It's not The Lanterns. I think it's just Lanterns.
No, it's just Lanterns.
Just Lanterns. And you will see Templar is actually wearing his lantern. Templar, we might have discussed this before, but what is your favorite lantern color?
We had this discussion, and the hot take was that all Christians are pink lanterns because
I just wanted you to say it again. That's all.
because I mean, it's in Scripture, right? Faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. And the pink lanterns that's love is their emotion, right? So all Christians are pink lanterns.
So what is the actual Green Lantern then? Like, what is the emotion there? Is it just anger? Willpower,
willpower, and the lack of fear.
Gotcha.
Lack of fear. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I think blue was kind of my favorite one outside of I liked green, but I kind of liked, and there's two blues. There's like indigo, which is I think something else, but then there's blue, which is hope, which I've always liked that one. I kind of enjoy that one.
Sure.
Outside of just choosing green, which is fine but boring.
Yeah. Well, it's
I always thought orange was interesting.
Orange was what? That's the fire one?
Just one single guy. And every single time he defeats, I'm not super up on his comic, but every time he defeats somebody, he basically can call upon their soul to fight for him.
Larfleeze.
Yeah, well, it kind of makes sense that the greed lanterns are not big on sharing with other lanterns. So I guess he doesn't want anyone else to have an orange
He doesn't
ring.
want one ring is enough.
That's enough. Yeah, he wants it all for himself, shockingly, given what his power is. Someone said, when we were in Pittsburgh, we were talking about lanterns, and someone said that they thought they were an orange lantern. I'm like, oh, that's quite the thing to say about yourself. And I think they realized that wasn't what they meant.
That's not what they meant.
Interesting. Well, there's Larfleeze in all of his weird glory.
He's pretty sick.
He is. Yeah, he's pretty sick. I will say. I wouldn't be him though.
No, I wouldn't want to be him either.
No,
I'm just saying, orange is interesting.
Yeah, avarice.
Black is interesting.
Extreme greed. I love that. All right. Well, we're not here to talk about Larfleeze. We're here to talk about Lanterns, which premiered the new hot show, which premiered on HBO Max or Crave or whatever the heck it's called now. We're not going to watch the screencast one. I don't want to watch the Easter eggs. I just want to watch the Emergency Awesome one because it's great. It premiered a couple nights ago. It's created by Damon Lindelof and Tom King. The showrunner was Chris Mundy, who did Ozark. Did you guys ever watch Ozark?
I watched
part of it. An episode or two. Yeah.
Okay.
It was too depressing.
Very dark, very depressing. Yeah. And then he also directed True Detective. The second season of True Detective, Night Country. It's got Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan, and it's got Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart. Kelly McDonald's in it. Garrett Dillahunt is in it, which was good to see Garrett Dillahunt again. Forgot he was in it. Laura Linney's going to make an appearance at some point. Nathan Fillion's going to make an appearance as Guy Gardner at some point. Him and his bowl cut, they're going to come back. It's an 8-episode season, and it rolls out weekly. The quick quick kind of TLDR is that it is verified fresh right now as of the year of our Lord, August 18th, 2026. Verified fresh. It's in the low to mid 90s. Metacritic has given it like a low to mid 70s, generally favorable, which we'll talk about that in a minute. And James Gunn, this is the James Gunn cinematic DC cinematic universe now, he has framed it as a space cop version of True Detective, set in a small town, Nebraska, murder mystery. It's not a cosmic spectacle. Okay, so that is kind of the big, broad, sweeping. We don't need to really give all of the plot points here. I do want to say, though, right off the rip, I really enjoyed episode 1. I'm going to toss it to you, Templar, first. How did you feel about episode 1 here of Lanterns? Like, what stuck out to you? Like positives and negatives? Like, let's just start kicking the ball around right now.
Yeah, well, generally I was quite positive on it. I think the banter and the relationship between the two of them was really good. I liked the back and forth quite a bit. I think the relationship dynamics are also complicated and kind of interesting in terms of what you learn even just in episode 1. And they kind of hint at it. They sort of subtly and not so subtly say different things about their relationships and kind of where they're at. I think it suggests some interesting things about what it means to be a Green Lantern, or maybe what you think it might mean to be a Green Lantern, that we can dig into a little bit. But overall, dynamic is good. I liked, you said it's Aaron Pierre, is that right?
Yeah, Aaron Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good.
Yeah.
I think I like his vibe. I think the sheriff was also really good. I think her interaction with the two of them is very fun. It's not exactly what you expect, right? I mean, the trailers did do a pretty good job of preparing you for what the tone would be, but I think it's interesting how much Hal goes along with the sort of local authorities. Like, there's an air time when he gets brought to a courtroom, and it's sort of like, you don't have to be here. Like, there's literally nothing they could do to keep you here. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe that's more trouble than it's worth. But it's interesting to see the dynamic of how they're choosing to portray this. We've saw a sort of version of that even in James Gunn's Superman, but certainly in Man of Steel, of like, how does the government interact with, in that case, Superman, but super powered beings. I think that was also an interesting element here. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. Generally, I'm quite positive on it. It ends on quite the reveal that we can dig into a little bit, that I think sets up some more stuff coming.
So, Druzi, we've been talking in a shared DM, the three of us, and we've been pretty hyped for this. You especially, I think, shared the latest story trailer, or the most recent story trailer in our DM, and then you said both you and your wife were pumped for it. So, like, did it pan out, I guess, in the first episode? Like, were you carrying that excitement through?
Yeah, man, dude. As soon as we got back to Pittsburgh, our trip, the only thing I was thinking about was this. Like, great to see the family. Not saying that I wasn't excited to see them, but like, I was so pumped for the Lanterns, man. Like, it's so funny. Ryan Reynolds, when that whole thing came out, I bought the album for the CD. I bought all the art. I bought everything, just because my hope has always been that there would be more Green Lantern stuff. This show has given me, say what you want about James Gunn, but like, I've liked what I've seen so far. Templar and I know we both kind of share the optimism towards what this could be. I know we'll get into that more as we compare the two of the MCU and DCU, but like, I've really been pumped about this, and I thought the show did a really good job. Like, I think, was it Templar? You said it was like Yellowstone-y before. Like, when we saw the first trailer, you were like, this is going to be Yellowstone, but with Green Lantern slapped on. In some ways, it kind of felt that way, but I actually like the direction they took of, like, we don't know why Hal is the way he is right now. Clearly, there is something going on. Like, he's disgruntled. Even his, what did Jon Stewart called it? He called it his Hal Mirage or something like that. Hologram. Yeah. Hologram. Great, by the way. Awesome line. His hologram was even surprised that Hal was the way he was. So something has gone on that has made him, whether it's the way that Oa and the Guardians gave Jon Stewart his like, hey, you're going to become a guy in training. I think there's some dynamic there that'll be fun to watch go out, because, Hal obviously got his ring, not by accident, but through Abin Sur landing and dying and all of that, he got his ring, where Jon Stewart's a completely different route, and there's never been this situation before. Obviously, we know Guy Gardner is probably more set in the 2026 line versus 2016 line. So like now there's multiple Green Lanterns. What would Hal think about that? But it's an interesting dynamic, and I've been so pumped to watch it, and I thought it played out well in this episode.
I was reading the Den of Geek review, and Den of Geek, like if you don't read them, you should go read them. They're good. But one of the things they were saying that the author said was, where was it? The aw shucks thing. Can I find? There it is. Most of the Lanterns plot serves as a celebration of Jordan as the most incredible jerk in superhero history. He's arrogant and reckless. He bullies John and Carrie when they get in his way, and he's completely over the whole superhero thing. And yet, Chandler, so Kyle Chandler, Coach Taylor, love him. Chandler delivers all of his lines with an aw shucks drawl and an irresistible twinkle in his eye. Even better, the episode presents Hal as undeniably competent. He assesses the situation before anyone else, knows exactly the right buttons to press to navigate Macon and the alien invaders. The interrogation sequence at the episode's end proves that Hal has earned every bit of his arrogance. And I completely agree with that assessment. I think Kyle Chandler... Did you guys watch Friday Night Lights, the TV show?
It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Yeah, hands down.
Same. One of my favorites. I know, and Templar, I know we've talked about it. You haven't. Coach Taylor is a force in that entire show. He just did. Kyle Chandler is
the
awesome.
show. He is the show.
Yeah. I mean, him and
Saracen and them. Yeah, there's some good guys in it, but like he is the show for the most part. Yeah.
But watching him kind of do the arrogant bad guy / good guy role is pretty rad. I really like that. And there's been comparisons on the internet that have called it Coach Taylor gone cynical, which I completely agree.
Coach Taylor also had a chip on his shoulder, right? Like he played that part well. It's just now his motives are completely different than Kyle, than he was in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. So a lot of it is landing. There is some things that aren't landing. The chemistry is something that I've seen, like the chemistry between Stewart and between Hal Jordan. is kind of like weird. Like the Chandler and Pierre thing is weird. And the fear I think that people are seeing is that it's going to lean too far into like the True Detective type of thing. Do you guys feel that? Are you scared of that? Like, I guess Templar, like, let me ask you, are you scared that this is going to lean into True Detective too much, seeing as how the showrunner itself wrote True Detective?
That's probably somewhat unavoidable. I've never actually watched True Detective. I just know some of it. So like I won't be able to recognize whether it does or not. Okay. I've only seen clips of the first season. I liked their dynamic. I mean, I think the dynamic's a little weird, but I think that's like true to the dynamic between the characters. I think the back and forth makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is a situation where Hal knows, or seemingly knows, that Jon Stewart might be his replacement or is his replacement. And I mean, when is that replacement going to happen? Like we can definitely see he's competent, but maybe the Guardians want to replace him sooner rather than later. They're not maybe looking for him to die of old age or something and then give it up in 30 years. Like they might be looking to replace him much sooner, and he can feel that. In that case, why do you don't want to train your replacement at any job, right? That's tough. So I think how much they kind of go at each other makes some sense given what their dynamic is, and that the situation is sort of being forced on them. I thought the dynamic was a strength from the first episode anyway. I thought their back and forth was quite good. I think they're both good actors. So, I mean, I think it made sense. So I don't know what that criticism is, or if that comes from maybe more of the season, like from critics who've seen the whole season and maybe don't like where it goes or something. And maybe fair enough. I can't speak to that. But from this episode, I'm not concerned.
Okay. And Dalton, I guess my question for you is, how did you feel when there was a guy shooting an apple off of a kid's head?
I was just about to say that. Like, what did you guys think about the background? Because I felt like they handled Jon Stewart decently well, right? Like they talked about his military background in a different scene than that scene, but they talked about like he'd been idolizing Hal, and you even see that like at one point, I forget her name, the sheriff is like, why do you follow this guy? And he says something about like, I trust him. I believe him. Like I still am a believer in Hal Jordan. Like John disagrees with him and can't stand the guy in certain points. You see that, but this is a kid that idolized the Green Lantern so much that he lived out that mentality of no fear, with his dad shooting apples off of his head. So I don't know. I thought they did the origin thing really well for John. We obviously got a brief drunk version of that with Hal disgruntled and ready to fight in the bar with like, yeah, pink guy, Abin Sur gave me the ring, a green bubble, I said no fear, that kind of thing. So they did both of their origin stories, but I felt like they did enough in this episode to kind of show like a little bit of like, I don't know why they may be different. And I thought to Templar, I thought they did a great job of like showing their relationship in a way that I was interested, at least. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah. Gizmodo watched, I think, 7 of the 8 episodes. They said the reviewers said they loved episodes 1 through 5. They said the momentum collapses hard in episodes 6 and 7.
Interesting.
Yeah, they said there's like pacing and editing choices that undercut the tension right when it needs to be building, which I think is fascinating. So is that a deal breaker for you guys, or is that just like a normal HBO show for you guys?
I mean, it's not a deal breaker, certainly. I'm going to watch the show. Like, I'm not just going to take their word for it. I mean, maybe it lands strong, right? So
are we going to do the Last of Us thing though? Cuz like the Last of Us season 1 kind of had the same thing. If you think about it. It wasn't strong the entire way through.
I don't think Green Lanterns will follow the same path that Last of Us did. I think that it being a different producer, so to say, and all that, yeah, maybe housed on the same streaming platform, but I think we'll see a little bit different. I think James Gunn already has shown, Supergirl, different conversation, I think, for some people, but I think for a lot of people, what he's done so far looks really dope, and I'm excited to see it. I'll watch it all the way through just because it's Lanterns anyways, but I'm not worried.
So big question for me then, before we move on, this is framed as a prestige crime drama. And that's kind of how even the initial trailer sold it and how we're kind of feeling it. Does the prestige crime drama approach make Green Lantern as a character and Lanterns as a show, does it make it more interesting, or does it kind of waste the property?
It's a choice. They're leaning into the whole idea of them being cops, which is not necessarily the choice you had to go with. They could have certainly done something that was more space-based with the Guardians, and maybe we'll get, I mean, they show in the trailer that we will get, we do get a scene where Hal visits with Sinestro in like space jail. So, I mean, there's some things that we see but they could have made it more space-based, and with the Guardians and Oa, and we might get some of that. But I think they just made a choice, and it's fine. And I think them being, I mean, they're always kind of called like beat cops, but their beat is just like a whole sector of the galaxy or whatever.
Planets.
You're leaning into that. And I guess it can just show that the scale of what they're doing will be very large. We do get a reference that Hal said like he was off dealing with some issue and he was gone for a couple of weeks and he stopped a war. So that's a big thing. And then now we get this, what seems kind of on the surface to be small. I imagine it will spiral into something much larger in terms of the consequences. But no, I don't think it undoes it or anything. I think it kind of makes sense for what Green Lanterns can be. And it's just an interesting route to go with it.
Yeah, Dalton, what do you think?
I think it's a hard comparison too, because like you got the Ryan Reynolds that really leaned heavily into the comic book superhero-y bright green version of Green Lanterns, right? But in all reality, the DCU, if we're going to start using that term, right? Like, I mean, the term's been around, but you know what I mean? If we're going to use it here, like it's a vast thing. Superman was very bright, very alien, shooting lasers, all of that stuff. The Green Lanterns really are showing a different side of these galactic kind of dealings, like who they're potentially working against here, which we assume is the Manhunters, because that's been all over the news everywhere. Like they are undercover, right? We've just seen this alien with like a nuke inside of him blow up and them use their powers. Now, them being more discreet is probably smart, we're probably seeing some of Hal's wisdom there over time, not gunning down and shooting lasers everywhere. That's not what's needed right now. That might not be interesting to a lot of people because of how cool the Green Lantern's powers are, that anything you can imagine and will show up. So we're used to seeing the Ryan Reynolds train out of nowhere running over bad guys or giant Gatling gun shooting, right? Like that was some of the things that probably that movie did okay in, was some of that silliness. We're not seeing giant Kilowog running around alien in green tights. Like we're not seeing that. We're seeing humans from Earth being cops. And the Green Lantern side of it is very, very low key, even though everyone in the world in this whole place knows that these two dudes are Green Lantern, or at least one of them is a Green Lantern, right? So I don't know. I'm interested in this take because when you start thinking of it as a whole world, not just one show, like Superman was very supery. This feels very low key, but there is deeper things going on here that are supery. It's just the take on how they're going about it feels more cop versus Superman's like the ultimate military tool, right? Like it's a nuke versus a cop, right? Like they're different strategies for different seasons, I guess, so to say.
To me, this is I was thinking a lot about this, talking with somebody about Andor, they were just, we were at lunch talking with somebody, pastor that we know from Pennsylvania. And he was saying that he was just now starting season 2 of Andor, and I was like, if I could just forget about everything that I watched of Andor and just go back and watch it all over again. And my take on that is Andor was great because it was Star Wars without the Star Wars. And this almost feels so far, and I could be completely wrong later on, because again, we do see Sinestro, and we are going to see some like comic booky stuff. But this is a comic book without the comic book. Like I really like it when showrunners take big swings with properties that are kind of in different genres. So the same thing happened with Wonder Man. Like, I don't know if you guys have watched Wonder Man. Wonder Man did the same thing. Wonder Man was awesome. Like it was a comic book character that did not take comic book swings. Like literally until the last 10 minutes of the series. Spoiler. But it was totally different about everything. Like I'm interested to see where this goes. Now you brought up Dalton. You brought up Superman. So 2025, I dug some of these up. Superman became DC's first head-to-head box office win over Marvel since 2008. They beat Fantastic Four, The First Steps, by roughly $100 million worldwide, which is not nothing at all. And then in 2026, the DC universe. So we Templar and I did the roundtable coming out of 2025 into 2026, thinking like, okay, DC's got some stuff going for it. It's got the juice. Supergirl landed critically soft. It was like in the low 50s. And then it was kind of like, okay, maybe the goodwill's all eaten up. Now, that could have been because of internet commenters and the
politically charged stuff, all that stuff.
Yeah, there's all of that happening there. But Lanterns is now DC's best reviewed 2026 output. It's a streaming show. It's not a theatrical release, and so it doesn't move the box office scorecard. But I think it's interesting that this is going up against Brand New Day right now. Spider-Man is reportedly like the biggest domestic opening weekend of all time. Which beat Endgame's record, and it has a 90% critic score and a 98% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And then we've got Doomsday coming out later. And so like Marvel's kind of having this 1-2 punch right now. And I don't want to do like a which one is better or which one is winning right now. But my question to you guys is, does Lanterns even count in the DCU versus MCU argument right now if it's not part of the box office?
Yeah, I think so, because I think certainly there's been a lot of TV stuff, and Marvel's still doing a lot of TV stuff as well. I mean, they've had the new Daredevil show, and then there's the new Punisher show, I think, which is also either coming out or has come out. I haven't followed most of the Marvel TV stuff, but that's done pretty well, I think, and some of their recent TV stuff has been well liked. And I think DC has also done a good job with their television stuff. Creature Commandos was excellent.
Oh, right.
That was a really good show. Peacemaker has also done very well. It's a very different tone of a show, but first season was really funny. I didn't see season 2. I didn't watch season 2 yet, but good thing. Like I think I heard pretty good things about that one as well. So I think it's part of it. I mean, they want to have big box office successes, though. I think like this stuff, I think helps. Like having the success of if this show does well and it lands okay, then that helps keep the DCU going because Warner Brothers has had so much in terms of changing management and changing companies and then getting bought out and all these things that all affects just, if someone new takes them over, there's no guarantee that they'll continue with the vision. They might want to do their own thing, right? So these are wins that I think will help James Gunn continue, but I think he's going to have some box office successes for it to continue ultimately. Superman did fine. Like, I think it did well enough, but it wasn't like a smash success. And Supergirl did very poorly and I think lost a good amount of money.
Yes.
So that's not great and I don't know what their next planned thing for release in theaters is.
Man of Tomorrow? Clayface.
Well, yeah, sure. Clayface, I think, matters less. I don't know what the budget of Clayface is. That's another kind of interesting body horror rated R thing. So that I think they're not expecting huge numbers out of, but I don't know what their big next big tentpole thing. So the next Superman movie. So I think if that also disappoints and is kind of gets mixed reviews, then I think, you never know. The plug could get pulled at literally any point. But I would say if that disappoints, then ultimately it I don't know where you end up with the DCU. Then the Marvel versus DC thing is interesting because, I think in terms of theaters, it's just Spider-Man. Like, the other movies haven't done well recently. I don't think any of the other MCU movies have done well in recent. Like, the last Captain America movie didn't do great. Thunderbolts didn't do great. Fantastic Four didn't do great. Like, a lot of their recent releases have not done well. Spider-Man just seems to kind of be its own thing. And people have love for Spider-Man and they like Tom Holland and they like that series. So there seems to be just a lot of specific love there. So even assuming that will carry over to Doomsday, I think is not a given. Because also Doomsday's coming out against Dune 3 for some reason.
Same day.
There's also pretty stiff competition. And I think there's no reason to believe that that's going to be like an Oppenheimer-Barbie situation where they help each other. I think they will absolutely cannibalize each other in terms of viewership. So I am not convinced that the success of Spider-Man is even an indicator that the MCU is on better footing. Because to me, Spider-Man is just its own thing. Like, I don't even really consider it to be that relevant.
Dalton, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting conversation. I think you're looking at a baby versus now like a 30-year-old, right? Like, they're two different conversations. The MCU's had its ups and downs. It's had its wins, its losses. They've swung, they've missed. They've tried really weird things, WandaVision being one of them. I think, that was super weird, but also it was a massive hit, right? And Vision Quest seems to be that way, coming out soon. That looks dope. 2027, I believe. But like, there's a ton of stuff that the MCU has coming, and not all of it, you could tell right now, like looking at it, not all of it's going to be a hit. I think Doomsday will do well. Will it do Spider-Man numbers? Probably not, right? Like Templar is saying. But I think the DCU is starting more in a pacing way. I think they want to be a long-term thing, but they're not trying to just swing and swing and swing. It seems like they're being very methodical about what they're putting out. I think they thought Supergirl, probably based on the TV show that CW did, would have more footing, because that show was genuinely liked, if I remember right. Like, that was one of the better shows of, like, CW did most things pretty well. Yeah. Flash was good. Arrow was loved, all of those things. So it's not weird that they picked Supergirl. Like, I think that they thought wasn't going to do Superman numbers, but it still would make money. I think, once again, there was a lot of things outside of the movie that I actually think hurt more than the movie itself. But Lanterns was more of a dark, I don't know, it's like a dark horse. It's my personal favorite of the whole DC, but it's not a Batman or a Superman, right? And Jon Stewart, which is one of the reasons he's my favorite, I was talking about this pre-show with you guys. Like, for millennials, Justice League was a huge deal. that show was massive to a lot of us because of Cartoon Network. Jon Stewart was the Green Lantern in that. Occasionally you'd see Hal come back or whatever, but he was at an elevated position. Your day-to-day Green Lantern was Jon Stewart. So to me, like, that's smart to bring in Jon Stewart because he's more of a well-known amongst your average fan. Like, he's Green Lantern in a lot of people's mind. Hal Jordan, yes, was Ryan Reynolds. That was the last time people heard of that character. But I don't think, on average, I think they've been very methodical about who they're picking. Clayface feels like a weird, swing.
It does.
That probably is like the weirdest that DC has thrown. But the other three so far have not been that crazy.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing I was just looking at actually is you said that it's like a 30-year-old and a 2-year-old or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the questions I was going to ask you guys is it fair to compare a first generation shared universe, so the massive MCU, which is like 17 or 18 years old, is it fair to compare that to something that's only a year and a half old? And I think you kind of answered that question. It's not necessarily fair. And maybe I need to frame the question this way. Is it fair to even have a DC versus MCU argument? Like, is that just nerd nature that we have to be fighting Nintendo versus Sega and Xbox versus Sony? Like, we have to be fighting something.
It's happened for years, right? Decades, because of the comics themselves. I think it's weird. It would be weird not to have it here. Do I care about that? No, because I'm going to go see DC stuff and MC stuff. But I'll let Tim throw his hat in the ring. What do you think, Tim?
The conversation's inevitable, right? It's just going to happen. Like, does it make sense? Maybe not, because you can enjoy two things, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can like the MCU and like the DC universe. You're not obligated to choose one or the other. People always will have their preferences of what they like more. And I think DC's going a very different direction. I hope it's a successful one. As Druzi said, we've been kind of hopeful about this. I'm a DC guy more than I'm a Marvel guy, even though I have enjoyed a good chunk of the MCU over the years. I'm more of a DC fan. Batman's my favorite superhero. I like Green Lantern a lot. I like Superman. I like the universe of DC, and I would like to see it done some justice on screen, whether that's TV or whether that's movies. But if the MCU figures it out and makes decent stuff, then I'm not going to hate on it just because it's Marvel. I've been negative on the MCU because I think their quality has just generally dipped in the last decade.
Agreed.
Maybe less than a decade, but 5 to 8 years, something like that. So it's going to be that way because it just is that way, because people are tribal.
Yeah.
It's us versus them. It's like, well, do you have to be against the neighboring sports team? Like, does Michigan have to dislike Ohio State?
Yes.
It's like, well, no, but they're going to.
No, you have to.
Well, and to some extent, that is fun. I think rivalries are fun. Yeah.
So there's no reason that you have to choose one over the other. There's no reason you have to choose DC over Marvel. But people are going to have their preferences. And I think DC is doing an interesting thing in that they're making stuff that has a very different vibe. To Dalton's point, when Marvel's done some different stuff, it hasn't always hit, but something like WandaVision was a different step for them, and it was successful. Something like Deadpool, which was Fox and came over and whatever, but like is a different vibe than what they had been doing. And I think one of the main issues we saw with the MCU was everything felt the same. Like all the movies kind of just felt samey, and whether you liked that or not is fine, and kind of doesn't matter whether you were into what they were doing or not. It's just they were very much the same. And the ones that stood out were the ones that felt different. Doctor Strange. Like for me, my favorite Marvel movies are the ones that I think stood out one way or another. Like so Winter Soldier, which is like a Cold War kind of spy thriller. Doctor Strange, which is a very different vibe. You bring in the different dimensions and magic and all these things they were doing. It felt very different and disconnected. The first Guardians, right? You take it somewhere else entirely, totally different kind of tone, still humor, but different style of humor. Those are my favorite ones. And I think those are the ones that were very successful. But the problem they ran into is I think everything felt the same. And I think you even see it just in general culture that the Marvel style of humor, people are tired of it. Like when the Dragon Age Veilguard trailer came out, people are like, why is it the Marvel humor? Like, why is it the MCU humor in Dragon Age? It doesn't make any sense. And I think people are tired of that. And so I think DC is being smart in the sense that they're doing things of a different vibe. One, they were always got accused of everything being too dark, right? Yep. Man of Steel is too dark. Everything is like literally dark, but also tonally very dark. So you get Superman, which I know people are mixed on, but I generally enjoyed. And it's hopeful and it's bright. And like their fights, it's colorful. It's not raining. Everything isn't like sepia or whatever. Like it's a bright, colorful. I think they leaned into the humor too much in it, too much of the James Gunn-ness in it. But it was a very different vibe. Now you're getting Clayface, which is something entirely different, which is a body horror, David Lynch-ish. I mean, maybe not, but like rated R movie, like that's, and you're picking a Batman villain, like a random Batman villain to do that with. And he was in Creature Commandos, which is its own entirely different thing, which is more like actually what a Suicide Squad movie kind of is, in terms of these are like actually all kind of bad people, but they're doing stuff that's good. And but then you have the Suicide Squad movie from 2021, which was fun. Everything they've done has kind of been a different tone. Supergirl, I still haven't seen, so I don't know. Maybe that's kind of in line with Superman. But again, she seems like a different character, so I imagine the tone of that is somewhat different. And then Lanterns is something different again. And then Peacemaker is something different again. So everything they've done, I think, has been very different. Now, we talked in the past about the strengths and weaknesses of that, because I'm getting on a soapbox here. But
go for it.
Because that means just because someone likes Lanterns doesn't mean that means that they might not be into Clayface. They might not be into Superman. They might not be into Peacemaker or Creature Commandos, right? Like maybe they're just into body horror stuff, so they'll like that a lot. So you can cast a wider net in the sense that you might get different people if they check the stuff out, because you can appeal to different audiences. But the thing that Marvel had with everything being kind of samey was that if you got enough people on board, everything was going to do pretty well then, because people could go to the next Marvel movie. You kind of knew what you were going to get, because you knew what you had seen. Whereas with DC, I don't know if you know what you're going to get from it. You're going to get something different, and you might like that, or you might not.
Wasn't that some of the criticism, though, when James Gunn took the helm? That we were going to have banger soundtracks for every single movie, but they were all going to be the same humor.
It was going to be
Chino, how do you feel now that we've seen a couple of these DC films, whether trailers, video, or TV? How do you feel James Gunn is handling it? Because he said, and I wonder if you think he delivered so far, he said every single one of these characters were going to have a different vibe, different feel. I feel like Superman's probably the most James Gunny, but what's your thoughts?
I think that the Superman is a good one to come out of the gate with, right? Like it's either you either come out with Superman or Batman. Like I think they did fine with Superman. Batman, correct me if I'm wrong, is going to be living in its own thing, though, right? Like James Gunn is not touching the Batman,
which
or
sucks,
the Batman 2.
I like Robert Pattinson as Batman, but it's they're going to have a different Batman in the DCU. That Batman is its own thing.
Its own thing, right? So they're doing like the Flash thing.
He doesn't touch that.
Yeah. Yep. So like I wish he could. I think I haven't seen Supergirl. I have really no intention to watch Supergirl unless one of my sons says, "Hey, let's watch Supergirl with me." Just because I don't care that much. Like a Supergirl was a weird swing for me. Templar and I have talked at length about Clayface, and I think I'm going to see Clayface, even though I'm probably going to watch it through closed eyes most of the time. And Lanterns is a big swing. I was just sitting here looking at TV shows, Marvel TV shows versus DC TV shows. And I will say DC has less color to their TV shows. I mean, obviously all of these, but they do have a lot more, like DC feels more adult in its capacity, in its ability to talk through nuance. Even just one episode of Lanterns, and then looking at Watchmen, the TV show, The Penguin, absolutely, like it has an ability to talk through nuance. Whereas I don't think Marvel's like best shows, WandaVision was fine. It's saying that's like one of its best shows. Miss Marvel's I did not like. X-Men 97 was nostalgia bait for me because I grew up watching X-Men, and then even then some of like the topical stuff was just a little weird. The Punisher One Last Kill is only like 45 minutes and it's good, but it's only like one thing. Like it's just like a mini series. So like I don't know. Like I don't know how to how to rate that James Gunn so far, other than like, yo, if you just keep doing what you guys are doing, like, I think you're going to be fine. Like, we're not doing quippy one-liners. We're not doing Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, and 3. Like, I haven't seen any raccoons yet. Like, I think we're doing fine. And overall, like, I think, and I will credit Templar to this. So we've been doing this show like 3-something years, 4 years maybe now. And I was never that big of a DC fan, because the last time DC did anything was... that was of worth was the 4:3 grayscale version of Batman vs Superman, and which was sponsored by AT&T, and which was just, in my opinion, an abomination. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we wasting time with this? And I know some people like it, but Batman vs Superman, like, what are we doing here? Like, Henry Cavill, the only reason that movie was remotely interesting was because Henry Cavill's a beast. Other than that, it sucked. But James Gunn taking over it, like Templar's been hot on this for the past 2 years, and like I'm kind of joining his enthusiasm. I'm kind of being swayed, and like one episode of Lanterns is like winning me over here. I do want to talk briefly, not to change gears, but I think thinking of how Marvel is pretty same but same, not even same but different, but like same but same. Spider-Man, Brand New Day, has just been romping. And Templar hasn't seen it, and Dalton has seen it. And so we're not going to get into any spoilers, but Druzi, just real quick, like I want to get a quick review of you, from you, about Brand New Day. Like, give me your thoughts real quick, because I think this is going to be illuminating as to what DC is doing.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So the thing that I think a lot of people don't like about Spider-Man is actually the thing that I think Green Lantern or Lanterns is doing. Is it's not a well-known big bad guy. And a lot of people, I think, online, from what I'm seeing from Brand New Day, is it continues once again Tom Holland not having his own villain.
Yes.
It continues this big giant... Spider-Man is the glue to the MCU. Like, I've thought that for a while, that like his story is always there to narrate some bigger piece of the MCU, moving towards Thanos, moving towards this, moving towards that. Like, Tom Holland as a whole, I love the movie, all of that. But I get this criticism that his movies really aren't about him. They're about something else. I do think this newest movie does the best job of stepping back a little bit of that and making him just the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for a second. And then it quickly turns into, once again, he's a glue to a bigger next move of Marvel. They've already said, Kevin Feige has said that we're moving towards an X-Men future. It's not the Avengers anymore. It's the X-Men future. Spider-Man now seems to be the glue that has moved them in that direction, right? So as a whole, I don't know. Like, I think the directions are going to be very different. I think we're seeing a much more street level DCU. And I think we're seeing, once again, they're moving towards a big picture Marvel. I think that, personally, from my point of view, is going to be the biggest differences in the two. And I think that's where you either really like that or you don't, for either or. I kind of enjoy both. I'm liking where DC's going. I kind of like this new direction that Marvel has said, okay, we've been in the valley for a long time. Brand New Day felt like they were kind of going towards that arc that feels, I don't want to say in-gamey, but they're like moving towards something that feels good. Fantastic Four sucked. Like, I love the aesthetics. I was fine with the cast. You know, Pedro Pascal, I don't think was my favorite Mr. Fantastic. We don't need to sit in that, but like, they really nerfed him as a character or as a superhero in that movie. But as a whole, like, the aesthetics and everything felt very fun. I think they almost went the Superman route of very bright and all that, but just the movies have not been hitting with Marvel lately. So I'm interested to see, like, to Tim's point, can they do something outside of Spider-Man and it be a hit?
I didn't like it that much, and that's just like, I don't need to give a review. Like, it was fine. Like, it was a solid 6 out of 10. Like, it was fine.
Variety, best Holland movie or no?
I don't think so. I think Far From Home was the best. Yeah. And that wasn't because of him. I think that was because of the other two Spider-Men and like the genuine humor in it. Variety, and I'll explain it with this. Variety, in their review, they said that this movie was watchable without ever being transporting, which is 100% true. It was incredibly watchable, and I never felt like I was transported into New York at the time. Whereas, and this is what I wanted to loop back on, whereas Lanterns, even just one episode of Lanterns, I was like, holy crap, I am here. Like, I am in this small town.
In Nebraska.
I am in freaking like just like 17 people, one traffic stop. Like, they love football. That's all they care about. Like, the fact that this guy had no thoughts about Barack Obama as president, and he's living in like rural Nebraska. Like, that was genuinely funny.
So funny.
And Spider-Man had some like some funny moments, but like, I don't know. Like, it was fine. It was fine. It's not one I would go back and see. Like, we didn't need to have Black Widow in it. She didn't need to be in the movie at all. Like, why did we need to see her in the bathhouse thing? Frank Castle, I guess, needed to be there. Like, we had some things there, but like Michael Mando as Matt Gargan / Scorpion, like, he was in it for literally 3 minutes. So he got broke out of jail, and that was it.
He was there 3 times. Broke out of jail. He fought him once. He fought him again.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe a total of 5 minutes. Like, we didn't need it. Like, Tombstone didn't need him in there. Like, we didn't need any of these people in here. None of these people needed to be in this movie. And yet it was just like we were handing them out like they were candy. We don't need to have a spoiler thing on this, but that, like, the interesting thing is it was not transporting like Lanterns was transporting to me. And so I guess I want to steer into our wrap ups here. Like, give me a verdict, Templar. Is this a watch? Is this a pass? Like, how are we feeling about Lanterns and DC overall?
Lanterns to me is definitely a watch. I mean, based on the first episode, I mean, we'll see where it goes, but yeah, for sure. I think the interactions are great. I'm interested to see what they do with the Manhunters, which they revealed in the last trailer, because it seems like they're doing a sort of hybridization of Martian Manhunter and the Manhunters from which I wasn't familiar with, which I guess is the precursor to the Lanterns that the Guardians created, who were like robots that could transform or something, or maybe they couldn't transform, but it seems like they're merging that with like Martian Manhunter abilities and that sort of thing. So it seems like they're doing some sort of dual thing there. But I'm into that because I think that will bring in a cosmic element, and we might get more seasons of this show. Like, I don't know what we'll get, but anyway, this is a watch for me for sure. DC more broadly, I feel okay about it because this seems good so far. I think Clayface probably isn't a huge swing, so as long as that like does all right, then I think they're on okay footing. And then I just kind of hope that the next Superman movie does well. So this definitely, DC as a whole, I'm still positive on it. I think it's a little shaky in terms of how long it will continue, though.
Okay, Druzi, over to you. Give me your verdict, and then your feeling on DC right now.
Yeah, I love Lanterns. I think it's worth the watch. I don't usually like true crime stuff, but I do like some of the Western vibes that this has. I am finding it really interesting. I love the quips between the two. I think the bar fight scene is one of my favorite scenes of a show that I've watched in a while. I love that as John's having this conversation with the wife of the enemy, so to say, there's literally a fight happening behind, and he's just getting the stuff kicked out of him, and I love that. But then I love the smirky smile at the end as he's getting his way, and John's like, that's a dumb plan, but Hal knows it'll work. So all those things, all of that's so fun. Like, I'm really ready to see this continue on. There's a 12-year-old version of me that is so pumped for where we're going with this, because we already have the Justice League that I wanted the original Justice League to be. I didn't care about Cyborg. Like, to me, that's Teen Titans, right? Like, I wanted Superman, Batman, Hawk Girl, John Stewart, Green Lantern, and then John, the Martian Manhunter. Like, to me, and Wonder Woman, that's my Justice League. Like, that's where we're going. And I would flip out if we see John, the Martian Manhunter at the end of this. I do think, Temp, you're right. Like, I think they're kind of mixing, this, well, we were... the Guardians' favorite kids. We were the Martian not the Martian. We were the Manhunters, and now the Green Lanterns. You took our spot. I do think that's ultimately the plot of this show. I think the Manhunters are disgruntled against the Lanterns, and there's this new guy, young guy, angels versus humans kind of vibe. Like, you know, there's that a little bit of the creator liked us more than you kind of vibe. But I'll be interested to see, but I really am hoping we're getting the Justice League the way that I remember from the show as a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll have plenty more on the show, I'm assuming. We're also going to have plenty more on Silo. Silo seasons, what are we on, 3? We are a couple episodes away from the finale there, so Templar and I are going to be talking about that. We might ask Pastor Dalton / Druzi to come back on to talk Silo with us as well. Just kind of strong-armed him into that right here live. You saw that. You witnessed that. Sorry, gang. And also we're going to be working through this book right here, this wonderful epic tome called All the King's Men.
That's not Pierre Nessie. That's interesting.
No, Pierre Nessie. After we got done, I actually just moved Pierre Nessie. So I have a stack of books that I've like read and unread, and they just like sit over here until I process them and put them onto the bookshelves. I legitimately this morning picked up Pierre Nessie and I just dropped it on the floor. It is sitting on the floor behind my desk. I'm not kidding you. Like, it is right there.
Strong feelings.
I have many feelings. I feel like Templar is going to do the same thing with this, except you might want to watch out when you drop it because it might put a hole in your floor from the weight of the book as it falls through.
It's the earthquake in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least Pierre Nessie was short.
Brother, I'm feeling some of that right now. Let's just say maybe it's just the weight of like, I've been reading this gosh darn book all month and I'm only on page 259. Like, that's okay. Anyway, anything else I need to mention here before we wrap up, Templar?
Nah, man, I think we covered it. I mean, we didn't talk at all about the reveal at the end of episode 1 and break down any of that.
Can we talk about it? Because like I'd be fine like tacking this in somewhere in the episode, but like I don't know what to think about that. Like, how did you guys? I
think it's not him.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a Manhunter.
Yeah, I think it's not actually him. I
agree.
Because I feel like in the trailer, they even show Guy Gardner interacting with Hal. So unless that's another timeline, unless I'm misremembering it, maybe it's like cut together to make it look like it, but it's not actually.
Is that why he checked if he was wearing the ring?
Well, he checked for the ring, I think, because he's like, well, it's my time now, but then he didn't have the ring. But then, I mean, I don't know how they're going to how the rings work, but the ring... The way Hal described it was that the ring found him for Abin Sur's ring, so presumably the same thing should have happened. Like, the ring should have come to find John, I guess, unless it picks as someone else. Like, is that where Guy comes from? Maybe. I mean, I guess in theory, if that actually is Hal Jordan, that could be it goes and chooses Guy for some reason, and then he has to get a different ring or something. Like, I don't know, but I think that's not Hal Jordan. I think it's a Manhunter, and it's like a misdirect.
Druzi, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the same. I think that's a misdirect. I think that's a great way to end the first episode. Like, Hal Jordan, this guy you've fallen in love with, is now dead. Like, what are you going to deal with that? I think that's super fun. I think as a whole, I actually think in 2026, John Stewart is a Green Lantern. I think what we're seeing is I think they purposely don't show his hands at all. Like, every scene I was looking. I was like, oh man, it's a time jump. Surely he's got the ring by now. I think he's a Green Lantern. I think he's probably experienced at this point. This is me reading into a lot of it. But I think like he now has the facial hair from the cartoon Justice League. Like, he is that experienced Green Lantern. I think at this point he's got a decade now underneath him. I think that whatever the Guardians have done, I think we now have 3 Green Lanterns in our area of the universe. And I think Hal is a Manhunter. I think he's not. Yeah, I just think the Manhunter's messed up, and John knows that, and he's trying to just double check.
Okay, so
not that he would show much emotion.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know a whole ton about Green Lanterns and like how the whole thing works. How many can you have in a jurisdiction or in an area? Can you only have one of each color? Can you have as many as you want? Like, what are the guidelines and the stipulations here?
Well, the other colors aren't organizations in the same way that the greens are. Like the greens are like a police force that's meant to, and it's only supposed to be one per sector. Now, Earth in the comics has up maybe even more than 3, but the 3 main ones at some point: Guy Gardner, Jon Stewart, and Hal Jordan. But then there's also, it's comics. There's a ton of variations and this and that. The other ones are less like, they're not as organized. Like the Red Lanterns are more like an army. Like their rage, it's all anger, and like we don't need to go through them all, but they're not set up that way, so they don't all have like placements throughout the galaxy. That's only a Green Lantern thing, I think. Anyway, I'm not speaking out of turn there, but generally each sector only has 1. So the fact that Earth has 3 is odd, but that's how it is in the comics, and we know Guy Gardner is 1 in Superman, so they're going to have it.
Dope. Okay. Yeah. Well, on that note, go ahead, Dalton. I just cut you off there, bud. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying, we've in the comics, there's been 8 Green Lanterns from Earth, and in the comics, Guy Gardner was supposed to be the backup to Sir, but Hal Jordan was closer. They were both potential, and Hal just was closer, which is such a comic way to go about it. Clearly, they're going to clean that up in the cinematics, but that's Abin Sur died. Hal's close. He becomes the guy. But how they go about it, like Tim said, like usually it's 1 per area, but in the comics, Earth, our region, our area has always seemed to not fit the bill for Green Lanterns. We've always seemed to have 1 or 2, whether it was because Hal was going towards Parallax or Hal was doing something else. Somebody was breaking some rule, and we end up with multiple rings. So yeah, it's interesting.
Earth is special. That's why we got a bunch of degenerates around.
Yeah, that's
here.
right.
That's all it is.
That's right.
Yeah,
we are the readers of the comics, so we should get the cool stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
And
also we're the writers of the comics too. Don't tell anybody though.
Plot armor.
Exactly. All right. On that note, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching episode of whatever the Roundtable is. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Sweet.